Welcome back to the Molybdenum Software Show, where it all depends on whether we manage to ship. It's what it all depends. So let's do it. Let's move along.
Have a list. Let's get through the list. I think we were in the middle of something last week. I don't remember what. Oh yeah, we were working on an error log. I remember.
And is this still a branch? Issue 249 error logging. I believe something should fail here, right? Something should fail. No to do. Cargo tests. Here.
Okay, right. So we added this thing, but this thing doesn't even do what we want it to do, right?
The option of env filter. We use CRDS on a new type, and it's supposed to go somewhere and do something like you said, which probably doesn't. So we can find all references. It didn't seem to work. Oh, it jumped. It took a while, then it jumped to the only reference.
Okay.
It's here. And then this is over here. With env filter. I think this should work.
Oh, I mean, it does something, but it doesn't do what we want, which is it doesn't log all requests.
Oh, right. That's right. No, that's yeah. This is it's a different step. We just enabled tracing it all. So we can try this again, right? Like so something like
util-run API or something.
ER tracker. Right, we can do without. This is a default, but this is an error that won't compile. There is no such file. There is, for example, port. It looks like that. Port to listen on period. Rates. PI big. So here, port exists. Source? No. Why
Pardon me.
doesn't API config? Port. This is case sensitive all of a sudden? I didn't know that.
Hasn't it always been?
Tracing filter. Should this currently we are adding this only for the API.
Well, we're also going to add it to the Nix module, aren't we? NixOS module.
Yes.
Or do we think that this?
I mean, as opposed to the fetcher.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, rates, API config. like before, there will be tracing filter array.
Tracing, not tracking. Beautiful.
Now it exists. I saved this as tracing filter. Did I?
It's fine.
But it doesn't, so when you write, it's not save, it doesn't change where this buffer is. This is still here. Okay. Delete all that. This should explain itself in Markdown. Should mention Rust tracing, right? This one. But
That
maybe
says
the doc
Tokyo. Is it part of Tokyo?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it is part of Tokyo.
If we use Nix, we can generate a link to the actual version documentation. No, the source of truth for that is cargo only. I'm not sure how to solve that particular problem.
I don't understand the problem.
We're going to link to this, but at what version? Maybe at the default version. Like say, okay, and handwave.
Yeah, that seems fine
version.
to me.
I wonder what's so the tracing.rs is the domain, but it redirects to /tracing.
Lovely.
So I think we should use the domain itself.
I agree.
That it redirect. Oh. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. All right. So, cargo test. Okay. All right. So this. Where is this format explained? I don't know the vocabulary. It's like names and values. They fields?
The type is the type that we're using is
Okay. I think tracing subscriber is the thing, right?
no, it's the and what's it called? What's our type called? That's what we expect to obtain there, right? An env filter.
Yep. Which is.
Can you see what the type is?
From tracing subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So tracing is the general framework. This environment variable is specific to tracing subscriber.
Yeah, maybe we should provide a link directly to that type.
We're filtering and formatting to the env logger crate. Env logger is this Rust log environment variable. Yeah. This Rust log, is that a core Rust thing, or is that just
yes,
a common convention?
I think it's used in Rust tooling, at least.
Oh, okay. This is the thing we're talking about. Documentation.
In Rust, the documentation is typically quite straightforward. In our case, we are deserializing a env filter. So that's what we should tell that's where we would find our documentation.
Okay.
Under this type, I think.
There it is. Okay, great. So how do you want to link to this?
We did discuss the oddity of the name here that has anything to do with env, right? Because it seems to have nothing to do with env. With like it's a layer which filters spans and events based on a set of filter directives.
Yeah, the env part is that it comes from an environment variable and is inspired by a crate called env logger.
Right. So I think it's a link to this page.
Okay.
But can you, like, when we build this will show up in two places, right? In the Rust docs, I think you actually have, a link to this. Can you show us the Rust docs? You built them, what's called the program doc?
Sure. Wait, show. One of our outputs here.
Yes.
Program docs or Nixos manual?
Yes. Program doc. I think without Nix, this is cargo doc. Cargo doc.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be a good idea because I'm gonna rebuild the world here, aren't I?
Yes.
Cargo space doc.
Yeah, I wonder whether it needs a flag. And the other one is the NixOS docs. How do we build those? Oh, we have a Nix. We have this Nix thing. I think the only way to build it is via Nix. Via its Nix package, right?
That would make sense. Nix render docs. Nixos render docs, I mean.
Yeah. You can see that it has multiple commands, not just one. Some variables. Well, let's rotate and see how fast this
Okay.
can happen.
I have nothing to rotate.
Next build program. Next one. And maybe cargo dock. Open. Since I switched to Stylix, which I'm loving. I lost the
Stylix?
yes.
What is that?
Show you Stylix. This I used to use.
Theming frame.
Yeah, I used to use.
I've never heard of this. Is this something other than Cappuccino?
Yes, I used to use Cappuccino,
Okay.
which is this, and it gives a lot, but Stylix gives more.
God, I can't believe the world had it to build one of these projects, much less two of these projects.
So this one, yeah, and I'm like sorry that
Jesus.
people did all this, and then there's Stylix does more. The Stylix is not built around Cappuccino, which is like a theme. Cappuccino is like a set of four themes, four color schemes. But Stylix is a theming framework that has, if you look at the modules, has modules for, I think, probably more things than Cappuccino has. And if you want to do Cappuccino, then like you can use Cappuccino because it supports. I think it's in here.
Well, I do like distinguishing between the color scheme and the implementation of the color scheme, or the implementation of all the configuration.
It's tinted theming that, and then you can gallery this. Yeah, this is where I picked from. Stylix supports by name all of these. Actually, it's not really by name. It's like I have to do something like in my flake.nix I have tinted. Yeah, this I have an input for tinted schemes, which is is not a flake.
Got it.
And then in my color scheme module, I have like, here is my basic scheme. It's input tinted schemes and then this YAML file.
Got it. Cool. These are base 16, meaning they operate in a limited palette. Is that what the base 16 means? Are they just 16 colors?
I told you.
Yeah. Cool.
Right, like here. Do this and see. This is the color.
Yep, 16 colors. Got it. Cool. Yeah. That phrase base 16 is frustrating because it sometimes means the thing I try to do with my terminal colors, and sometimes just means color schemes made out of 16 colors or less.
So here's environment. This is what we link to, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Now it has this option of end filter. So if we click end filter, we are building the documentation for this struct that it's not ours.
This struct is ours.
This struct is ours, and then we can click here, and then it's still in our documentation. But the way that we build, this is cargo doc. The way that we build the Nix package is different.
Mm-hmm.
Nix build program docs. So I think we exclude. Should be able to program docs. C. Include in project docs. I'm not sure. Oh, like the default is not to include this project, any project, right?
Right.
A project.
And then we turn that on for some crits. Yep.
Yeah, but where's the thing that says not? Maybe it's the default by now. To like not document dependencies, not build the documentation for dependencies. That's probably just in NCI, not default.
Oh, I have no idea.
That seems to be taking a long time to patch script interpreter path.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it? Canceling it. Give me logs. Reach the same step. It's a bit unreasonable.
Yep.
How do I filter by user? Still going on? I don't think it's stats. Maybe dash. Well, it did. Oh. Aha. Okay, that
Okay.
makes sense, right?
I don't know. Do we have like a source filter or something, or did we forget that?
Exactly. So this is an
Okay.
API config. Big. It would be an API. Right? API default.
Okay.
File set. There. File set. lib file set union that union okay. Here, here. Union is like maybe it's the plural.
Sounds
Could
plausible.
union is like 2 arguments. This is list. What should we be using there? Let's try Qt browser result. Index. No, there's no index to this. PR tracker API config index. Okay, and then if I go to environment, I can get to our end filter, but then you can see there's no link because we're not building.
Got it.
What we need to here put something more convincing.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Let's do that.
Okay.
And yeah, I agree. Like, we need to do that anyways for the NixOS manual. And like, in some future, it's entirely possible we stop documenting our environment variables this way, and then they need to be a little more self-contained.
Next.
Okie dokie. Start 7. Okay. Serialized and filter. And then are we going to have a specific, what are they called? Keys, values, names, targets? Should
At the
we
moment, we
document?
definitely don't have anything.
Right.
Anything specific to our program.
Yeah.
So for this
Okay.
PR.
All right. So maybe we'll expand on this once we actually add something useful here. Okay. So serialized end filter.
How about must serialize into, or must deserialize into, or expected to deserialize into
Okay.
an filter.
Sure.
And it seems like we're using a latest, which is reasonable. And I think a period is what we.
Looks like it. Okay.
So try the same way I built. Maybe is it either with Nix or you do cargo doc node debts.
Okay.
Oh,
Can we deal with this first?
what is
Unresolved link to landings.
is that? How does what? That's an existing. It's a warning. Okay. Could we? How do we have like no warnings, but we don't have no warnings in building the docs, so maybe that's why it's not caught.
Oh, okay. Sounds plausible. Okay. So that's just something that's been broken. What does cargo doc actually do? Oh, it says right here. That's what it does. Okay.
You mean the output? Okay.
That doesn't
Maybe
work.
not. Oh, you need to.
What?
What?
File : // There we go. Weird. This so this is funny. The thing on my screen is fine, but the generated link, this is like a bug somewhere. See how the link has my host name in it? Pattern at the bottom there.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
Yeah. So that smells like a bug in cargo doc, but all right. I don't want DB context. Why is this telling me about DB context?
It must choose one because there's no index. It's like it's okay if you open that, you find yourself in the correct. You have links to the rest of the crates. So they like share an index. You see on the left.
Okay.
That's really a missing feature. Probably a low hanging fruit for Argo Doc. That there's no like. Give me a neutral index page, right?
Yep. Expected to deserialize into and filter, and then yeah, this seems fine. I'm happy enough with that.
Yeah. Another thing we could do is to make this link into we could build, but that could like do no depths, but explicitly include this dependency, but then it would work only in the program docs and not in the NixOS docs because those don't link to.
And I don't know. I think this is way overwhelming. Like, I would like to change this someday to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Not leaking the fact that this thing's written in Rust, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm happy with this.
It's clumsy.
Yeah. Like, for somebody who's, like, used to looking at Rust docs, like you are, I think your brain filters a lot of this out and isn't overwhelmed. I look at this and I'm like, holy crap. There's a whole lot of auto-generated stuff here that a human probably didn't write. And I just want to know
like
how
help.
to use this.
There's the top right. Help. Okay, get help.
Yeah. Yep. Why am I learning about slices and arrays here when I'm just trying to run a piece of software? So, anyways, totally fine. But, you know, in my dream, infinite time, we would figure out a different way of doing this.
Into the milestone.
Yeah, so maybe we'll talk about it soon. All the more reason to not have this depend upon
Agreed.
cargo doc generating docs for us. So, moving on. Shall we add the NixOS option? Module option?
What?
So we've got a module, right? Somewhere in here.
Oh, an option. Module option. Yes. We need an option. We need
just gonna be like.
Is that what we have? An option?
Options.services.prtracker.api.port. So something like that.
Yeah.
That was a terrible idea. Okay. Yuck. All right. API dot end filter. Tracing filter. This is just a string, right? I doubt there's a better type. No, tracing filter. There we go. Yeah. And then we just need to thread it down. Port. There we go.
Not sure that the name is correct now that we learned what it is. It is an env tracing N filter. Though, does that matter? The fact that it's this thing called an N filter, or is that just detail for later? The person comes in, says, "Okay, what filter? Okay, it's an N filter," and
yeah,
that
I think
minor.
we would describe it as a way to filter the traces, and the word "end" is just how you give it to us. And it's especially meaningless in this context where, like, this is just a NixOS option, and how it gets passed through to the software is a detail that our Nix users don't even care about.
Okay.
We do need to pass it as an environment variable, so I guess the way we're doing that is something like this. And then can't even remember. There we go. PR tracker tracing filter. Wonderful. CFG dot tracing filter. Okay, that's that. And default equals null. This is a lib.optional.
Singular.
Okay. Then I don't need the array.
All right.
Got it. Lib.optional tracing filter does not equal null. Something like that. That's ugly. Better with parentheses. Okay, less bad. All right.
It also must be the type must be null or.
Thank you. All right. And then we will have test coverage of the scenario where it's set to null. Do we want to add a test for when it's not null?
I think we want to have a test for only for when it is provided, because then, yeah, because then we see that it works via the option manually once, and it's not even automatically tested. We could test this. Don't we like have a? Do we have a test that like tests the fact that it prints? It's pretty easy to test that, right?
Okay, integration API default. So we start it and we wait for something to succeed. And we do this with both the default package. Just, oh, hey, look at that, unused variable. Okay. Not gonna change that right now. Yeah. So we could just unconditionally configure it to have some tracing.
What about adding to the test script like a grep, like a journal grep?
Yeah, we could do that. So util run API. What do we get now?
Can you try like a failing?
Beautiful. Okay, so I think this would be this one or this one. Maybe that one.
Sure.
Here, let me get a Nix build of. Actually, I'll rotate to you. You'll be able to compile this faster. I think you actually have compiled it already.
test last file. Tell me the last file.
It's in modules/integration tests.
Oh. Same test script for all of them. So we can succeed the health check. And we can like wait for journal, right?
I don't think we need to wait.
XOS.
If we've succeeded at a curl, we can just immediately assert unconditionally. Or we could do it the other way, actually. Let's change our curl to not wait. And we'll have the waiting be for the logline. Just don't actually know how to do this. Oh, no, sorry. We already get the waiting because we have that systemd notify thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wait for unit.
I think we can just do succeed, right? Like we don't notify systemd until we've
I
logged.
don't really know what to use. I don't know what my options are.
I think
I'm
we
looking
do
for the
.succeed and then journal
test
ctl-u.
wait for. I'm looking for the all these commands here.
Yeah.
Right. Wait for console text. Serial. So is that like really it? Ooh, many.
I think there's like a wait for succeed or something, but we don't need to do a wait because we know that the server's already started up.
Sure. So what the grep you suggest? What's this? Screen. It's OCR.
Yep. Yeah, I think just do .succeed, and then it'll be a journal ctl-u.
And so why not wait for console text?
Because I don't think this is going to get printed to the serial console.
Okay, succeed. Journal. Is it? CL.
Yep. -u pr tracker api.service. Yeah, grep for one of our magical strings.
Magical string. String. Strong. Together. Like 80s ultra.
But I'm
Is
not
this
sure
what
what
happens
port.
by default?
Looks like it's 7,000 based on what's this fail? Fail is
Fail is fail is like if you don't succeed, then non-zero it.
I see. Okay, so then 7,000.
Righty then. I don't know which one to run, so let's just run everything.
Yep.
But I kind of wanted to fail. Hold on. How do we? Can we like make it fail by like I don't know. Let's go like to the full package and say.
Can you just leave that test running while we figure this out though? Because we'll probably get some good cache stuff while you go.
Get some good cache. Maybe in the implementation, you should change like what the default is for a moment. But then we won't be proving at all nothing with regard to the NixOS option specifically, would we?
Yeah, so right now we're just verifying the default behavior. And then I suppose if you want to see it fail, you could explicitly set it to empty string, and we should see it fail.
It will, okay.
I think we tried
Empty
that last
string,
week.
yeah, it's nothing. Okay, let's look at this.
And then whether we think it's worth having a whole NixOS test to verify that is, I think, debatable. But we can manually verify. So I've got this external battery, which is for charging a phone. It's got a little bit of a bulge to it, like this.
Spicy pillow?
A little spicy. Kind of see.
No.
So, what should I do with it?
Away with it.
Like, hazardous waste? Like, we've got this pile of batteries that have been accumulating for years, but they're just dead batteries, not like bulging ones.
Did you see a video of one of these go off?
I have not watched one recently. It's fire, and you don't want to breathe it, right? It's not good.
It's fire that's difficult to extinguish because it keeps igniting chemically. It just keeps continuously igniting chemically until it's done. It's chemical reaction with the air. It's difficult to. So I think you have to put a fire blanket on it.
Yeah.
And that's not something you have anywhere typically.
I have a fire extinguisher right there. Don't know what would happen. Would rather not find out.
No, I think it just is not enough. I think you need maybe a foam one. Foam? I'm not an expert. Because you need to cause it to feel. So I have you see this?
Yes.
Headlamps. Backup phones. Here is a power bank. There's I don't know, some earbuds in here. And all the chargers. With a switch for each one. And at night there's these mounts for phones. At night they go here.
Wow.
They go airplane mode. And this closes up. And any battery
Very
that
prepared.
is not hopefully I bought this I think it's actually 4 batteries. It's 4, but for working batteries. It's just kind of a safety bag for carrying extra batteries for all sorts of purposes. And it's fire resistant to some degree. So I store them as like a battery trash for a while until I figure out where. Phone repair shops. The phone repair people. They
can dispose of batteries.
I think they.
Yeah, I mean, we have like a household hazardous waste facility in town that's open like one day a week. But until I go there, I'm just keeping this thing on my desk, which maybe is not the best place to keep it.
there's hardly a good place to keep it. I think inside the bathtub, maybe that's a better safe place to keep it.
Yeah.
And you saw that I have this Fairphone 5.
I remember you being very excited about it years ago. But I don't think I really looked at it when we were in person.
It has the back opens and the battery comes out just like the old Nokia phones.
Right.
So the phone lives longer than the battery. It's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, this succeeded.
Okay. So try setting that option to an empty string and see what happens.
Where currently it's not set at all anywhere.
Yeah, it's null. API dot tracing filter equals empty stir. Okay, and I hope to see a failing test. Or maybe 2 failing tests.
And if you remember this controller,
I remember you got one.
I only ever used it with the computer because it connects to a computer with USB cable. But it has 2 batteries under these covers, 2 of them, big ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's called NCR 18650B, and it does not operate without them.
Oh.
Like technically, this kind of thing could be designed to operate powered by
Sure.
a computer, but it's not. It's not the primary use case. Because I would have loved to not have batteries on my desk.
Gotcha. Test failed, as expected.
Ooh, that's nice. Okay. I'll remove that. And model mix.
Great. Yeah, I think we can mob done this. Like,
Just diff. Please.
mob start 7, get diff issue 249, error logging. Okay, cargo lock. What happened? We added that tracing subscribers package, I guess. It depends on Power FMT, a fun name. More dependencies. Yep. Tracing log, tracing subscriber. There it is. All right. A package called valuable. I hope it lives up to its name.
Try removing it.
CRD with, try removing it.
See what happens.
Yeah, it's a transitive dependency. CRD with, tracing subscriber. Love it. API config, and yep, I think that might be the only place we use them. There's our docs. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but it does what we want it to. API tracing subscriber. That makes sense because we did write code over here. Actually, yeah. There it is. Tracing subscriber FMT. Okay. Great. Sure. So we get a default value there. Yep.
Formatting there.
Yeah.
Perhaps some binding would help.
Yeah, you would have a better intuition for that than me. This is API cert main.
I think maybe another way to make this a bit nicer is, instead of using unwrap or some explicit initialization construction, is to use unwrap or default and then to implement default.
Okay.
Then it's like out of
And then
here
we get to
cleanly.
drop a dependency, is that right?
How is that?
No, we're still calling tracing subscriber. Never mind. Okay. So unwrap or default, like that.
I think we still need that.
Something like that. This should fail to compile.
Because maybe there's no default. Should fail in your editor.
Yep, we're getting there. Or it won't fail because it works. Maybe the default is not what we want.
Is that an option? What is? It's our end filter. There's no way that it's.
Yeah, but did we derive default on it?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I just saw.
Yeah. So we pull the default from this thing, which might not be what we want.
Yes, what's the default? Oh, the default was lower, right? The default was debug. So
I'm not seeing anything get printed here.
maybe nothing.
Yeah. So we could not derive default and implement it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do that?
Yes, I think that's.
Okay. So we can take this code here, put it here, self. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. Sure. Works for me. Okay, back to where we were. What?
But now I think that we should change the name of this type.
Okay, what do you want to call it?
Now it's not just a new type over, because it changes behavior of the thing that it new typed over.
Sure.
Right? Now it should be called tracing filter. This is our type.
Works for me. Okay. Tracing filter. This should be called tracing filter as well. And then we'll call this env filter. Like that. To actually give this
There
thing
is a refactor for that.
Okay. Like I can rename
from the
0?
type itself.
No. Okay, not there. Do. Where do you want me to put the cursor to?
On the struct name or on the field?
I tried the struct name.
I think it's not available because it has a
Okay, that's fine.
declaration, right?
And filter like this, right? That's all we need.
Curlies.
Thank you. Pub struct. Boom. 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 What's missing here? Oh, comma, not semi. Love it. Love it. Love it. Then I got to say what I'm setting and filter like so.
And now we can import and filter directly instead of fully qualified into that other module.
Okay. Like that.
Yes.
Love it. Okay. Works for me. Get diff. All right. Here we go. All right, so this is API config. We have this type called tracing filter, which has an N filter inside of it. Yep, looks reasonable to me. Tracing subscriber, we do need access to, so we can call FMT. Get to remove the print statement. We add this to our file set. We add a new nixos option. We add a new, we thread it through as an environment variable, and we assert that this does something. Looks good to me. Next, mob done. All right, what do you call this? A feature?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Feet. Add.
When you check the log for
Check the log.
maybe we can do a scope. Did we do scopes for when we changed only things in the API?
Or use async closures. Feet API.
There.
I think we could call it a feet API.
Mm-hmm.
Look good?
Well, it's not about the option. It's about the fact that there is tracing at all.
Okay. Yeah, just
like
enable tracing.
Tracing, just right. Tracing.
Sure. Okay. We good?
But since this goes in a change log and the user would want to know that there is an option, then you can nice.
How's that?
Perfect.
Love it. Give a push. And then I'll rotate over to you, ask you to like check that and push it up.
didn't you? You did not do mob done, I suppose.
I did do a mob done, and I just pushed to the base branch.
So if I did a mob start, why did it allow me to do a mob start? What's in the log? It has your, okay. So I can do mob done safely, I hope. Git log, switch, check. Meantime, let's see about the program. It's in the program docs that we have a warning, right? So I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
If we build, so
if you want even lower hanging fruit, there's an unused Nix variable floating around somewhere. But that's not low hanging fruit if we want to enforce it.
Right. Why? I mean, it's kind of it fails in the documentation, but why doesn't it fail anywhere else? Cargo doc. Cargo doc. This. Why doesn't it? I mean, we have no warnings. We build the store because this is a doc comment. It's a doc comment. That's why. Doc comments are not type checked. This is not even a. It's a Rust doc lint.
Sure. Yeah, one would expect that Rust C, when it parses an AST, doesn't care about this, right? It's just a comment as far as it's concerned.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. We need to like get into the NCI's invocation of. Maybe it has an option. Maybe it doesn't. Of documentation, right? Doc.
I'm gonna grab some water.
Okay. Go. Docs only package. Docs index create. Create link. Docs profile. Release. Maybe this can be achieved via profiles. I'm not experienced in that, but I think otherwise we don't have a thing here. Is this read only? It's read only. No. We don't have a knob into this. We could ask start 19 minutes ago. That's automation. Discussions. cargo doc.
Hello. Are we
Hey.
making a feature request?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Using cargo doc, we a warning. Warning. What like kind of warning? A this thing that NCI docs. Well, perhaps it'd be best if NCI would like deny warning. At least by default for the documentation. Docs. That's short and sweet.
Love it.
And this passed. So I'm going to ship it, which I have this.
Do it.
That should do it. It's actually missing something, which is delete. No, it's not rebased. So log, I can do git, try to do git pull rebase, right?
Yep. Probably get conflicts in the lock file, right?
I think it's better to get log conflicts in the log file because I don't know how sound it is that we let git merge the
Yeah.
log file.
That would not be something I would want to have happen.
So we can explicitly check out the log file again from a previous commit. Okay. So git log now. So we want git check out. Oh, no completion. Is it branch name first? Main.
I think so.
It's like head tilde cargo log. Okay, we have a diff. We don't have a diff. How did that happen? How does it like?
Git status?
Maybe it's.
Yeah, it's staged.
Stage. Okay, and now it's missing stuff, right? Like now we need to run something. Definitely. Git. I'm going to reset it. Cargo test, whatever. And now our action next flag check is busted as well.
Okay.
Mm. It's the guy named David Fox. Y Combinator alum
Mhm.
installed Nix on a computer that belongs to this tech celebrity, software celebrity called Theo.
Mononym? Does this person only have one name?
Gets to see my YouTube suggestions. Of course, Doom is in here. Theo. It's not Theo Vaughn. It's this one. He has many subscribers,
Okay.
and so Nix is found itself into Y Combinator circles. If it wasn't already, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that meme? It was on Reddit. Our Nix. Is it Nix? Why is my Reddit
Excuse me.
this actual Reddit? Nix. Is it Nix Master Race or what's happening here? Reddit. Nix. How did it disappear? R Nix. This one.
I did see this meme. Pretty good. I
How
don't remember where I saw this.
where you saw this meme first?
Yeah, somebody
But you
must
remember
link to
this
it.
incident? The original incident?
No. I know the like, by the way, I use Arch meme,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not know what it comes from.
This is supposedly the captain of a ship,
Oh, the
and this is
meme.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. No, I don't know the meme at all.
and
Like this specific
and
picture, I mean.
yes, and that is it's from a video that was made public, and this is a pirate who just took over his ship,
Okay.
and he tells him, "Look at me, I am the captain now."
Okay. All right. Well, that fits with the meme.
Yeah, so I like how it's loaded with this story that actually happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then the arch on top of it, and then NixOS, which yeah, it's not true though, right? It's kind of true because like being the by the way doesn't mean that you are the most popular. It
No,
means that like you're the most shiny, right? You're the most sought after. You're the, you know,
you're cool for using it.
yeah. And I find it actually somewhat intimidating because having used Nixon for several years and experiencing so much learning aches.
Mm-hmm.
So many newcomers will have so much to learn.
Yep. That learning curve is no joke. But I think the thing is, a lot of people can get value out of Nix without doing much of the learning. Or like doing a relatively small part of the learning, I think. They just have to ask people for help or not do certain things.
Look, it ended up being the correct. Like after the cargo test,
Good.
we don't have changes anymore. So it's possible
it
that
did merge. Awesome.
merge, yeah.
Great.
So I'm going to push, and that's it. We have it in May. Did we close an issue with this? GitHub issue.
No, we're working on the
Close.
error logging one, but it's not closed.
Oh, there's no issue for
Request and error logging are two different things. We can tackle it in whatever order we want, but I don't think we've accomplished either of them, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
So which one do you want to do?
I think we should rotate.
Cap?
Is that what's on the list? Request and error logging?
They are two of the things on the list, but not the entire list, unfortunately. What tickles your fancy?
Those that we said we have this landings typo, and we kind of hope that will be enforced by something that will come from NCI. So we can leave that.
Yep.
We have a Nix variable that's a binding that's not used, which is not enforceable in the foreseeable future, and the statics gets some contribution. So let's leave that. Although it is annoying when you end up in that file.
Statics or NixD, right? We could use NixD to do it.
NixD can do it, but it doesn't have any nice CLI for it, right? It has some
Last
sort
time I
of a
looked,
CLI.
it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I literally have a fork of nil, or a one-line patch to nil to enforce this in my flake. So I don't know of a good way of doing this. So
I got write access to statics.
oh, okay. With the intent of implementing this?
With it, maintaining it.
Mm.
There's so much to do, right? And yeah, if anyone listening wants to contribute to statics, great.
Cool. Yeah, would be nice. So I think let's not touch either of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's focus on burning down this list and get this thing
Request
deployed.
logging. That should be fairly. Let's do request logging.
Great.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Poem equals trace. Really? Nothing? Here we go. Middleware. Log. Response error. X.call, await, match response. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Tracing from a init. Okay, so it's very similar to what we just did. Then this log thing gets added. This dot around on these things. All right, maybe we'll get errors as well. That would be nice. All right. Acceptor. App. Run endpoint. Okay. Has a dot await on it. Can we call dot around on this thing? Yes, we can. Love it. Okay, probably not there. We would rather put this logic here. Oh, new at dot around, and we'll say log for now. This will be something like this. All right.
I'm back.
Okay. I'm found some sample code in Poem Web, which looks similar to what we want. It's using tracing subscriber, which we just set up. And then it calls this around function to register a middleware looking thing, which is this log function, which prints the request path, invokes the next chain in the middleware, and then pattern matches on the response. What's kind of funny to me is they're just doing prints, not traces, which is, we just went to the effort of setting up tracing subscriber. But
Looks like an oversight.
yeah. So anyways, I copied that thing. We've got this log. I put this in lib in the API directory. So there's the dot around right there. And now I'm just trying to make this thing compile.
Is that the same around?
I don't know. I mean, it's like similar-ish. Route new at.
Yeah, I missed a single
Route new at.
Yeah.
But then we've got more stuff.
I'm pretty sure it is.
This result right here is a poem result. We like to qualify those, I believe. Okay. Something does not like the name of this. Match res. Too similar to an existing. I don't know what that is complaining about, but I'll just call it result.
Because there's rec.
But there's also resp, which is one letter away from res. So a lot of things, I guess. Okay. There's a method into result with a similar name. These docs lie, or do I need to import some trait into response, perhaps? Okay, great. All right, I'll add reminders to turn these into traces, but let's see if they work. 8080. Hey, yo, look at that. We're in business. Okay, look at that. There's a request to curly brace underscore curly brace. Very good, very good. Try it out. That didn't do anything. If I type some bogus stuff.
You can't do it.
Oh, that's a JavaScript enforcement. Yeah. Interesting. All right. And then we get a 204 no content. Love it, love it, love it. Curl -x post http://localhost 8080.
What about just 404?
Yep, error not found. Kind of weird. It is an HTTP 404. I don't know why this one. I mean, I know we specifically wrote a handler for the V1.
What's the question?
Well, see how the response here was a 404 not found? API V1 foo.
I think they're handled by different things. If it's under the API, it's handled by OpenAPI.
Yeah. Anyways, this is totally doing what we want. So this is great. So I'm going to rotate.
If you want, you can keep the editing if you're enjoying it.
Okay, I'll keep going then. So, all right, my first question, how do you feel about us just tackling both of these in one go? Error and request logging. Do we want to focus on one?
Yeah,
it does not bother me to do them together.
I mean, I'm inclined to split things up. It's like less, and then we can ship something. Review less. It doesn't cost us more to do less.
I guess what I'm thinking is maybe these logs will it would make sense to consider what we want logged, and that might make more sense to think about in the context of both of these things.
Sure, let's talk about what we want logged.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'm generally of the opinion that it's nice to log requests and responses separately, because you can kind of see the start and end. And if something weird happens in the middle, you at least see evidence of the start. But it does mean that it's hard to see that these are connected without a request ID. We did see docs for a middleware that added a request ID, and that might be a reasonable thing to tie the request and the response together. And then in the future, if we added more logging, to make things debuggable in the middle of a request, it would also be easier to get the context. So I guess where I'm going with this is I like the request and response. And I would propose that we add a request ID to tie them together.
Agreed.
Okay. I think we saw request ID, examples, poem request ID. What's this? Okay, this is not a lot of code. Show request ID. It seems to just be printing it. Does everything actually already have a request ID? Or is this like a built-in middleware right here? I'm going to look at the poem
I
docs.
see a line, I don't see line numbers, but I see a line that says with request ID 2 and 24.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, and that's like some built-in thingy from poem itself, right?
It seems like it's from Poem, right?
So that's neat. Didn't know that was built in. Yeah. Middleware data unique ID to every incoming request. Love it.
Unique across.
Pardon me. What's up?
Unique across what?
I would bet it's a UUID or something. Some random dice are involved.
Hopefully unique.
So, globally unique.
Mm-hmm.
Probably globally unique. And then the reuse is interesting. That's if you're, doing microservices or whatever, and you've got your service A that the user makes a request to, and then A makes a request to B. And it would be nice to have the ability to visualize your tracing across your services. So having some mechanism for passing the ID around, that might be what this is talking about. Like maybe they've defined some like HTTP header where the request ID goes, and this thing says, yeah,
Well,
if
take a
that
look.
header's there, use it.
Oh, okay. Configure whether to. It was right there.
Where was it?
The previous page. More previous. Reuse ID implementations.
Yeah. This doesn't actually say concretely what that means, but my guess is it's an HTTP header that they've invented.
This is oh. Okay.
Sorry?
Never mind. Sometimes the root of documentation for something in Rust crate is a crate. Sometimes it's a module, and in this case it's a struct, because it seems like this struct is in the middleware crate. There's no middleware module. There's no module for this specific middleware. It's just a struct.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the root of its documentation. And this is probably the entirety of its documentation, maybe together with the. Is there a poem like book in addition to this? Manual?
You tell me?
I don't know.
Not jumping out at me.
Mm.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. So
New.
they invented an HTTP header called X request ID. And I guess you can configure it to use a different header name if you want. And then the reuse or not makes sense, because if you're like handling requests from clients that are potentially malicious, you maybe want to ignore the request IDs that they put in, if they were to put a request ID in there. But then if you're some internal service talking to another service that you wrote, then you care about having distributed tracing. I think that's the hip term for this, distributed tracing.
That's a nice term.
Yeah.
I get it.
We did all this stuff at my previous job because we made the decision to do microservices. And so you get to justify a whole lot of engineering work that isn't delivering business value, but is because you chose to do microservices. So yeah, I think we can just basically say with and the reuse we don't care about. Use or ignore doesn't really matter. I'm not worried about malicious clients, but I suppose we could say ignore.
What's the default?
Don't know.
I think that the default will be explained by the documentation of this method.
The reuse ID method?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, it's not.
There you go.
Go to the source code. It would be in the constructor, right? And self default.
So reuse ID has some This thing doesn't derive default, so it must have an impl default.
Line 18. Right.
Oh, well, okay, this thing does have a default. Damn it.
That's okay.
Default.
Line 18.
Line 18, sorry. Oh, I see. Hashtag default. Okay. Default is to ignore. That sort of makes sense because you don't want to trust user-controlled input. And that's totally fine for us. Okay, so I want to take this block of code, this line of code, and add it to our thing. What I don't understand is what this with tracing middleware is. I wonder if that will actually give us everything we want, right? Like, we should try that out and see what it does. Maybe we don't have to write the logs. That smelled off to me, that they wouldn't have written something already.
With tracing? Is that, that's something we don't already have?
We do not already have that.
Why don't we have this? We just added tracing.
Well, we didn't know about this part. I mean, like, maybe ideally we would have.
Let's take a look at what this does.
Well, I've got a guess, and so I just want to run it. And my guess is that it gives reasonable tracing for requests and responses. So let's see. That compiles. I've commented out the around log that we added. And here we go. Oh, come on. What happened there? No request ID in middleware? These things not actually exist? Are these like POEM middleware features?
Could be a feature.
Okay. How do I find out about those? POEM features? Is that?
I think the docs tell you about any item, whether it's under a feature. Where are you?
POEM middleware.
Click middleware. Good.
Okay, the word feature only shows up here.
Uh-huh. Now go to the structs that you're interested in.
This is an enum.
Oh, this is one of them? Reuse ID?
Sure, yeah, that's one that's no reuse ID in middleware, right there.
Go to the source.
Okay.
Where?
Feature request ID.
Yeah. I kind of want it to specify this in the docs, like
API
feature, or do we not know where to look?
Sorry, missing feature?
That we need to go to the source to figure out that it's not in the.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Or we
It's under
missed
a
it.
feature.
Does this look reasonable, though? Adding request ID right there?
Yep.
Okay. Show me what you got. Okay, warnings. I like that. Okay, great. Pressing enter a few times. Refresh. Yes! Built in. Love it. Duration, status. This is beautiful. So we don't have to do anything. We just turn it on.
What is this URI?
That was a 42 non-existent, and it shows us 202. Yeah, that feels more like a path, doesn't it?
But look at the one above it. That's different.
This one?
It's also a path.
Yeah, that's a path.
URI of what? .js.
Yeah.
That is the front end.
Right. It's trying to load some JavaScript.
No, that's the file, the JavaScript file from which the request originated, where the request was constructed.
I don't think so. But let's see. We can confirm that with a curl, right?
Sure.
Yeah. See, slash.
What do you?
This is the path.
What's for?
Slash foot. Right there. Like, to prove this to you, I can open up the network tab as well. Refresh.
Yeah, but I think you're not. I'm not sure I'm getting through. My concept is getting through. If you take the value of that URL, that service / service worker, and you paste it in the browser, maybe service worker is a special thing.
I mean, isn't this just the JavaScript? The HTML payload or the JavaScript here is trying to load up some additional JavaScript that doesn't exist. So Chrome's making a request. It's 404ing. But this is not like some identifier of the page that's making the request.
Oh.
This is just like when websites load, browsers try to load JavaScript.
And okay. Now I see what you mean.
And like, I don't see the request here, which is kind of weird.
Is it? Maybe because it's from a service worker.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh boy.
But
there is a way to find these, but I haven't done service worker development.
It's if you're looking for, there's another cog, like the other cog.
This one? Or this one?
Yeah, that one.
This one just toggles these 4 things. Not filtering.
Next to no throttling, what is that? That one?
More network conditions.
Well,
Developer tools, application service workers.
debugging. That's fine.
There it is. This right here, service worker CA407. Yeah, there that is. So I wonder if this is like a worker that's getting started and doing nothing, because the worker gets started and then immediately tries to load some JavaScript that doesn't exist. Oh. Fine.
What did you?
I right-clicked here and selected Open in New Tab.
Let's see what it does. It's a short code.
Just spinning.
It could be an ephemeral path.
Yeah, is that a thing JavaScript lets you do? You like create these in-memory representations of things that you can then load? This is above my web developer pay grade.
Don't remember how these work. I think this is maybe this is a URI that gets created to represent a service worker after it's created using whatever service worker API.
Very strange that Chrome is like spinning on this when we know it's
maybe
not a real
because
page.
you have debugged it and it's not, and it's broken on a breakpoint.
Yeah.
It's not answering.
Terminate. So clicking terminate doesn't terminate it. Oh god. Okay, now it's gone. Weird. And now I get a regular old 404. Yeah, so it was something related to that service worker still existing.
If you reload the Swagger page, you'll get them back, right?
Probably. Managed to kill the Swagger page. Yep, there it is. Something about whatever starts the service worker does cause the web browser to make actual HTTP requests for this non-existent path, which is kind of weird noise. But otherwise, this is great, right? Like we see the requests and the responses. It includes a request ID, which looks like a UUID. This makes me a happy man. And we get the responses, not found, whatever. Like this is what I was expecting to get out of the box with any web framework we chose. So it just took us a while to find it, but I think we're good.
Agreed.
So I'd be down to call this done.
Yeah, I don't see a need to test.
Yeah.
We
just found the right knob.
I wouldn't mind making a single request and seeing that there is some logging going on.
So I am gonna just let us use the default behavior here. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep this comment that got copied in? it is kind of non-obvious.
Well, that's how middleware works, isn't it?
It's like you're building up the shell, the layers of your onion or whatever, and then they run from the outside in.
Should tracing be occur before add data?
I think we'd probably want this stuff to capture as much as possible, so putting it near the outside, I think makes sense.
So tracing is request and response tracing. No, it won't.
Right.
If we want to have something with to do with the database, it has nothing. It's not provided. So it does. The answer is it does not matter. I don't know
I think it kind of matters because, like, add data can cause a 50 something to get returned, and if we want to trace that, it means we have to put this stuff after add data.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if this aborts the request, nothing after it's going to happen, I would imagine.
I agree.
So, I mean, again, that's like another subtle ordering thing that we have not commented. So, probably for consistency, we should either say something like this stuff last here, or
But I think
just
it's like
remove these two comments.
yeah, I think it's the order matters with these things, and like if you think about it a little bit, I don't see these comments as necessary.
Okay, done. All right, and then we're gonna try to test this.
Just a little bit.
Oh, well, I'm very relieved. I was a little irked that it seemed like we were gonna have to write that code ourselves. Remove unused import. Love it.
Put
So,
them together. Remove that blank line.
which blank line? Line 14. Gone.
Boom.
Okay, interesting. All right. API next flake check. This is probably okay. I'm gonna rotate. Let's take advantage of our beefy machine.
Beefy. What am I compensating for?
Being a Rust developer.
You know, the strategy with Rust is to separate into crates. And then you get cached crates. Of course, Nix messes that all up, but
Right.
but with the large, this actually scales. And then if you compare with other languages that don't have these, granularity, then your mileage may vary.
I mean,
It's not necessarily that Rust
I'm a
is
Python developer mostly, so
Mhm.
it's a completely different, yeah, no compile time. But then, yeah, also, how do you know that your shit works?
So, mob, and you must have made a branch called issue.
Did I remember to mob next? I think I did.
Some reason this is behind. Let's see commit. Can you explain that?
Does mob start fix that? It's because I reused the same branch name from the previous mob branch. Because
Okay, got it.
we were going to add request logging, and then we discovered that tracing was a whole thing to enable first. And I was like, well, okay, now I'm going to use the right branch name, which happened to be the same branch name. So yeah, we can play with that grep we added, right? We should have a log line for the request that we make. And we can start with a failing time. Yeah, I guess the default is for the stuff to get logged, so it will get logged.
What log level is?
I don't know.
Is request and.
But you saw it getting logged when I was testing, and I wasn't setting an environment variable.
Sure. So we need to do stuff in parallel here. No, we don't. We need to like succeed in some curl, right?
Yeah, we already have a curl. Just
what, this one?
Yeah.
So after that, we can add something. So let's see if I where is it on? 8080. Could be it's info. Could do a request ID equals. These are not quite. Like in curlies, request ID equals, and then colon, and then this request, and then this opens a curly, and then we have fields. What's going on here? What is the colon separating? There's another colon here.
Yep.
I'm not sure how to parse it. This font. This kind of looks like it's missing a, because did you think it's a single line for a request and a response?
Yeah. Which is, like I was saying earlier, not how I would have built it, but it's totally reasonable. I had this debate, and I lost this debate at my previous job for us to log requests and then responses after. And the reason was because Datadog costs too much. And people were like, we can cut our log lines in half if we only log once rather than twice for every request. And I was very annoyed about this. But cost engineering is a very unsatisfying form of engineering.
Mm-hmm. So do you understand anything here about this column? because this is supposed to be machine parsable. These fields and stuff.
I'm not sure if this is really meant to be machine parsable. I think it's just some. I mean, like we could definitely parse it. I'm sure, but like it's possible that like the tracing stuff has some like sort of JSON representation as well that one could opt into. This is like the great debate with with logging that I mentioned when we started on this. It's like some people believe in structured logs all the way, and some people believe in parsing the unstructured logs to produce structured data later on. And the pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
The same request ID is repeated inside here.
Mm-hmm.
This column.
Yeah. If I were to make a wild ass guess, here's what I think's going on. I think that if we and to verify this, actually, let's do this. Add a trace statement. Okay, I'll make the hypothesis first. So I'm not like I bet that gets prefixed. That's like some context for every log line or every trace line.
Mm-hmm.
And then the request trace line just also happens to explicitly include request ID.
And then this is added by the response.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's just the middleware just it prints the request plus response, and then the request ID gets prefixed. And the format for prefixing it is that like curly brace colon thing. So I think trying to parse it as like one consistent colon separated thing is probably not the way to parse this. I think it's probably more like context, colon, log line.
Well, so maybe we should do this request ID. Good enough?
Yeah, maybe a request ID and then dot star URI equals, and then we can get the /v2/health check in there. Actually, maybe that's all we should grep for. Just grep for the path. Or URI equals the path, maybe.
Sorry, which one?
I would just do the URI equals part.
URI. So that should be. I don't remember what it is.
It's right. It's on the previous line. /API v2 health check.
That makes sense.
And so they're like obviously connected, right? We make this request and then we see. And we could even assert that the status is 200 or something if we wanted to do like dot star status equals 200.
This confirms.
Yeah, it does. This is not about confirming what the status was. It's about confirming that we logged the status. But I also think this is good enough. We're not trying to. We didn't write this code. We're just smoke checking that it works.
Mm-hmm. Go.
Do you have a util run API running, perchance?
No.
I was curious to try killing the Postgres database to see what gets logged.
No, I don't see one. How do I?
Yeah. Nice.
Kill one of them. How do I know which one to kill? And make it a tree. Here, make it a tree.
That's great.
And term this.
Yeah, it might handle sig term. I don't know, or maybe it's cleaning itself up. I think I might have had to do a sig kill, a kill -9. There we go. And then it's expected for it to become a zombie process because we're not actually reaping the child when it dies.
Nothing happens here.
Right, but now make a request. Or a request that relies on the database. Okay. Oh, wow. All right, so request. Fatal connection. This is URL IVO on landings 1.
But
Yeah, this is great. I don't actually see the response. Did we not send? Oh, no, there it is. Status 503. Love it. Okay, so that's cool. We actually see an example of a request with 2 log lines. So that's very cool. Because we've got the tracing turned up for SQLX core pool inner, because we've just got all info level logs turned on.
what determines? I don't get it. What determines whether it's one log line?
So there's a log line per tracing statement that exists somewhere. So it's like somebody wrote a line of code somewhere in the SQLX core library
Okay.
to trace an info level log or do an info level
traces
trace.
what with whatever context it
Right.
received up to that point. So
Yeah.
does like this equal that plus some other stuff? No.
I think the
This does
context is
not.
the same.
Is this the context?
I think so.
Okay.
Because it looks identical, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird that the context like repeats request ID. But still, like a little too much information. It's totally fine. This is lovely. This is like exactly what I'd want out of a like logging tracing framework. You can add all sorts of useful debugging logs wherever you need, and you will like have the context about what request you were handling.
This is taking a while.
Yeah. NixOS tests are great, but having to rebuild this project sucks.
It's the granularity of the derivations that is the like.
I thought you picked NCI or Crane or whatever because it was granular.
It's more granular than 1.
Oh, okay.
It's like greater than 1.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? It's like all depths are in the derivation.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's like all the third-party defs? I can't remember. Wonderful. Ship it.
Diff against base branch, I suppose. No, this doesn't make sense. Face branch is out of date because the feature, right? Feature.
We added
changed.
a feature. Yeah.
Okay. So there's some stuff in the log file. Stuff in the log file. Okay. This log file, cargo log. Some of the feature, the request ID used with tracing, with request ID default, and the one-line addition to the express tests
Love it.
API default, which is used in all of them. That makes sense. All right, mob done. Status.
I think we get to mark 2 different issues as done now.
Then let me see. Publish list. What do we call this? Feature API requests. Tracing. Close this. 249, 247. Okay, good. Jeremy?
Love it. Very happy.
This time it should work. No, it didn't. It didn't work this time. Oh, because I know why. Because of release.
Damn robots committing to our project, man.
But it's only a change log. So so I will do the dance again. Let's see, get started. Git checkout. Cargo log. Div. Nothing. So yes, it's fine. And I
don't.
can, so now
Wait,
I'm
you ran get diff before
no.
and had the same confusion.
Staged. Cargo test. Why checkout? Why does checkout stage stuff? Why does it do that? Did it always do that? I don't know. I kind of don't expect it to do that. And now if we do add, it should possibly even out.
Lovely. Yeah, my brain doesn't have an intuition for what it does or anything, which is why I just type get status all the time because I just don't know.
This next fake check should be from cache, except for the evaluation because it was it was unclean. Now it's clean. So only the evaluation will occur.
But
not only
haven't we done a row?
Oh no.
Like the release changed a file, right? Somewhere?
Yeah, they at least changed the version of the
project. There you go. That could break things. Cool.
Well, it certainly breaks the cache. But not the dependency. Yeah, also the dependencies.
think I understand that. But yeah, well.
Someone eventually is going to improve Rust Nix.
Hopefully.
What developments are you looking forward to in Nix?
Lazy
About lazy
trees.
trees.
Lazy trees. I haven't tried it. But the thing that was tied up in the lazy trees PR, which I think is now going to ship separately, which is fine. Patching flake inputs. I want that so bad. I do it right now with IFD, but I would love for it to just be a built-in feature.
What do you call patching?
Like, you've got these inputs, and you want to apply patches to them. Like, say, Nix packages, you've got, you're tracking Nix OS unstable, and there's some PR that just landed that you want.
Okay. Got
you
it.
know. I
So what
use IFD to apply these patches to it and then re-import Nix packages, which totally works.
Sure.
But it's kind of jank. Is system specific. Like I can only do development on an x86 machine, and IFD.
Well, I think overlays are more common. Is there a reason you don't use an overlay?
Like
what you're doing?
That would be, well, okay, I guess maybe two reasons. One, that only affects packages. It doesn't affect Nix OS module system changes. So
right.
I don't know, most recently I was waiting months for a sync thing PR of mine to land, and it was adding a feature to the Nix OS module. So I want to benefit from that stuff. Overlays, you still got to get your hands on that that package somehow, right? And writing overrides to override packages can get very awkward, right? Sometimes it's easy, but it's certainly not as straightforward as, oh, there's a patch. There's a PR, it's pending, add .patch to the URL, give me that patch.
So what is that? What does lazy trees give you?
So I don't know if you were subscribed to Elko's Lazy Trees PR. He recently closed it, but
they recently replaced it with a different one.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. And the different one is a subset of the things that was in that PR. So the new one does not include this feature. The one that just got closed included patching inputs as a feature. So that's the thing I'm excited about. It's also likely that lazy trees will be nice, and I'm excited to try them. But I mostly just care about patching inputs. And for anyone listening, I think you know this about me, Shahar. It's not because I want to sit on patches until the end of time. It's because I'm an impatient person, and I like getting fixes. When I run into an issue, the way I like to fix those issues is by fixing it upstream, sending in a PR, and then immediately being able to benefit from the PR for myself rather than having to wait. But I saw some people Okay.
You gave me an idea. So I'm going to push this because this succeeded.
Okay. And did that close two PRs or two issues? It should have, right?
I don't see them.
Yeah, I don't see them. Lovely. Good stuff.
Okay. Do you want to make make the meme?
I don't know what the meme is.
I'll make the meme. Meme, I don't know, meme generator thingy.
Oh, that was an ambiguous question. You're asking if I want to do it or...
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
I want smog. Smog. I want a different smog. This one? Me. I want kind of a sleeping smog.
Is there like a specific meme you're looking for?
I just have let's search for it. Sleeping. Yeah, maybe this one. Yeah, that's good. It's kind of greedy, right?
Okay. Yep.
Give me. Oh, I'm going to steal it. I don't care about any of that. Copyright stuff. It's fair use. No. What are you doing? Take file. It's also nice, but now we need meme generator again. Upload. Do I know which one it is? Like by date.
Can you paste the file name? Or do you, oh, you don't have it in your clipboard, do you? Never mind.
Don't need the person here. This must be the Hobbit. What's the name of the Hobbit?
Bilbo.
Bilbo. Okay. Allow this template. No, I don't want to allow it to be shared because I don't want to get in trouble. Text me, my packages,
Okay. Cute. No, that's not how I am. But apparently some people are like that. When Sylvan was getting close on, formatting all of Nick's packages, there were people who were like, I have 500 patches to Nick's packages. Look what you've done to me. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man? This would have been a great response to that.
Who was that?
I don't remember who. But it's like, what the hell are you doing, man? Or woman? What the hell? A few months late, but that would be the perfect response to that.
It works, so maybe it's a JPEG. Okay, let's go to Reddit. I don't know, is it probably Reddit? Here. Nix. I don't remember. Nick Master Race.
Is this just basically a place for Nix memes.
Yeah. Yes. How do I do this? Isn't there just like just
I've never posted on Reddit. What happens if you go images and video up above?
title is. Oh wait, I did. It adds. Okay. Oh, that still need a title. Hmm. Yeah, good enough. By the way, don't do this.
I think that's a good addendum.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you for bearing through that.
Not a problem.
So we crushed another thing.
Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point for me before we
Right.
jump into something else.
What
But I'm
do
down to
we
talk
have
about what's
else?
next if you want to talk about what's next.
Please.
We should have 2 issues open. One of them is about documentation.
That works.
The other one is about I don't remember.
Mm,
Oh right, we want to put a little blurb on the
I
site
think
somewhere
this is
saying,
first because it might affect what that even is.
yeah, maybe we do it all at once, or yeah, certainly. I agree. That sounds reasonable. So I guess that's the thing to think about in the shower or as you sleep or whatever, is how we want to do. Can we talk about this a little bit before we call it?
Mm-hmm.
Just to get my brain spinning.
Brains.
Because I think you made both of these things I helped out with maybe, but I wasn't present for most of the work on, or the investigation and decision stuff. So have you thought about what you want to have instead?
Question. The answer is to a very small degree, but I thought about some principle, more source of truth in Nix. That's one thought. For everything that will be shared. So, for example, these markdown snippet files that we have. Don't do that anymore. Let them be Nix, defined in Nix.
Okay.
And then they can be turned into values in environment variables. And those can be used in Rust and for building whatever documentation we build. And also some Rust code generation using Nix.
Okay. In order to get that's how Nix can know what the environment variables are, and Rust can know what the environment variables are without having 2 copies of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that
I
sounds
think,
feasible.
yeah, I think, and I think Rust can probably already has some include verbatim code from, and then we can use, yeah,
Ideally, an environment variable that
yeah.
points at a file in the Nix store that is a generated Rust file. Just because that's a little more pure than like symlinking a file into the, Nix
I
can't
thought it's
create.
going to be not even in the store, but just it doesn't need to be in the store. It can be just the generated Rust snippet can be in the environment value of an environment variable.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah, sure. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a neat
It's a
direction to
bit
explore.
finicky because then you don't have the Rust tooling to write that. It's like, code generation is always like.
Yeah. Generating code, much easier than parsing code. I think we can do it.
Yeah. And how we make doc, and then we don't use Rust doc.
Yeah.
At all.
We only use Nix to generate. And I mean, maybe we use Nix to invoke other tools, but once it's in Nix, our options are, the world's our oyster.
I think our best bet is to look at Flake Parts website, NixVim website, Filix website.
Okay. So we'll build one thing, and the thing we build will include NixOS module documentation, but it will not just be Nix. Okay. I like everything you're saying. This will spark a lot more joy for me than what we currently have.
And it'll be prettier.
Yeah. It won't be like, what the hell am I doing looking at Rust library documentation just to know what 3 environment variables are?
Sure, but I meant also the documentation for the option.
Sure. Yeah. Right. That'll also be
everything will be greatly improved, and
There is one thing that quite irks me about the NixVim docs, which is that nav sidebar on the left has these like expandable sections that you can't click on. Have you ever noticed that?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to go on a whole rabbit hole there, but it does bother me. So
it's probably configurable because I've used Flake Parts documentation.
I haven't noticed that on Flake Parts. Maybe it doesn't exist over there.
Stylix is not small. It has many more. Here, look. I'll show you Stylix. Stylix. Whatever. It has the same problem here. I want to click on this to expand and contract. Why do I have to click on that?
Yeah.
Also, if I do keyboard navigation, then I want to search for modules, and then I go select this. This doesn't work.
Right.
But I can do this.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, if it's not easy to, I'll just accept it, and maybe.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit more than that. At least on NixVim.
I don't think we'll even have this, but
yeah, we might not run into it. But on NixVim, I think that those pages are pages you can end up on. Like that modules is like at least for NixVim, right. I think it is a page.
Show a list of the modules.
Yeah, and it's like you can't get to it except in weird ways.
You're
so it's not just about expanding.
It's different.
I might be smoking dope, but I think.
Oh, no, but some of them have content.
Oh.
Like this.
Okay, some of
and then
them
this
are
is
actually
trying to be
clickable.
smart.
Oh, okay.
And
that
say,
actually
if you don't
makes
have
sense
content,
now. Yeah.
There's no reason to
I
be
get
there.
it.
But
consistent behavior. Okay. All right. I never realized that, but that's rational. And maybe the thing is like you should always put a little content there or something. I don't know. Okay. All right. Forget that thought. Thank you for entertaining.
Well, either forget that thought or go and put something here.
Right.
Sometimes, but it's difficult.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Well, it'll be neat to see how
Okay.
this stuff works.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Thank you for
So,
watching.
oh, yeah, go ahead. Bye, everybody.
Like, share, subscribe, rate, comment, and until next time, be well.
Bye.